It would be fair to say that a lot of us NBA fans put a lot of expectations and money, because a lot of y'all are money-hungry gamblers, into NBA seasons. In other words, we put stock and we put belief into specific teams or specific players heading into the NBA season on whether we believe that this team or this player is going to have a jump, or if they're going to win a championship, or if this player or this team is going to make it to where they've never made it before. For example, a lot of us expected the Lakers to win the 2021 championship. I mean, you always have to expect the team that won the championship to repeat, which is what was going to happen. But the Lakers, obviously, they got torn apart by injuries. It was all a huge mess. The Brooklyn Nets, we expected them to win an NBA championship. No one expected the Utah Jazz to make the first seed in the West. No one expected the Suns to make the finals. So as you can see, we have a lot of expectations. Most of the time our expectations fail and are completely wrong, and we look completely stupid, and some of y'all gambling freaks lose all your money on it. But at the end of the day, it's very fun to watch and to see our things that we predict go wrong because, hey, it's basketball. It's all a sport. It's a kid's game at the end of the day, and it's just fun to assume or to hope that specific things happen. So before we get into the video, guys, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified every time I upload. I'm going to be more consistent, I promise you. So thank you, guys. All right, let's get on with the video. Because I'm also a regular NBA fan, as you all are, I also have some expectations. More specifically, expectations for specific players who I think is going to have a breakout year, who I think is going to be better, who I think is just going to have a healthy season this year, and where that's going to take them. So I'm going to start off with a player that many of you guys might expect out of me, but I'm going to get him out the way first so that you don't expect him or you don't get bamboozled when I present him at the end of the video and you're like, wow, this was the build-up. So my first player is going to be Mo Bamba from the Orlando Magic. As you know, Mo Bamba has been in the NBA for 3 years, and those 3 years have been pretty trash. In his 3 seasons in the NBA, Mo Bamba has only ever played 60 games or more one time in one season. So for example, in his 3 seasons, he's only played 60 games once. And the other ones, he only played 40 or 45, 47, around that range. But the reason why this is concerning is because he's been battling a lot of injuries, and he's been battling a head coach pretty much. If you weren't aware with the Orlando situation, Mo Bamba was playing behind Nikola Vucevic, an all-star center. I mean, I don't care who you are. You're not going to play a rookie over an all-star. The New York Knicks aren't going to play Obi Toppin over Julius Randle to develop him. It makes absolutely no sense. You make your rookie come off the bench behind your all-star superstar player. That's just how the NBA works. So this happened with Mo Bamba, and he literally didn't get a chance. He'd get replaced by veteran players, or he'd get replaced by any guy on the team. Steve Clifford used to love playing veterans for some reason. Instead of developing the young guys, the dude was holding on to mediocrity. So this was one of the huge reasons. Also, Mo Bamba wasn't putting on his end, and it just seemed like him and Steve Clifford had a very ugly connection, and that they had a very ugly relationship. You see, Mo Bamba and Steve Clifford never got along because Steve Clifford thought Mo Bamba was never putting in enough effort, or that he didn't care about the game of basketball, when in reality, Mo Bamba was just extremely demotivated by the situation he was in. I mean, it wasn't really a bright situation for Mo Bamba coming into the NBA. So it was a lot of frustrations. There was a lot of grow-overs. And I'm just glad Steve Clifford is gone and Vucevic is gone, even though I love Vucevic, but it's for the better of the team. Now, moving on from Mo Bamba, we have Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, getting into Jaren Jackson Jr., it's a pretty obvious reason why he hasn't been able to play that much, or why his productivity has decreased in the years, and it's literally because of injuries. He tore his meniscus, I think in 2020, and he literally hasn't been able to play. And hopefully this season he's going to be able to play. Last season he was only able to play 11 games out of the 72. So clearly there was going to be a huge decline in production, as he only came back towards the tail end of the season when the Memphis Grizzlies were competing in the playoffs. So he came back in a very awkward situation. He was in this situation where he didn't really know what to do or where to go. It was just, he came back and now he's like, okay, what is my role? What do I do? Now, coming into this next season, I believe Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to have a huge impact year, because he's finally going to be healthy this year, and I hope he can stay healthy throughout the season. I know it's been a little bit annoying seeing him get injured every now and then, but it's just part of the game. It's part of the players, and it just happens with so many different players around the NBA. But like I said, now that he finally had a full offseason and a full season, literally, to recover from his injury, recover from the damages that he did, he's going to look a lot better this year. He's going to look a lot more healthier. He's going to look a lot more athletic. And he's just going to know how to play better with his team to help them go further into the playoffs. I am extremely excited for this Memphis Grizzlies team. They are one of my sleeper teams in the NBA. I believe this team is going to do great things and surprise a lot of different people. So look, this is me saying I'm jumping on the Memphis Grizzlies bandwagon. So y'all better be ready. And if y'all see me cheering them on Twitter, you better not say anything. And last, but certainly not least, my biggest expectation, my biggest player that I believe is going to have one of the better seasons this year, it has to be Kevin Porter Jr. Now, maybe you've heard that in several other people's videos, or maybe you've heard other people saying that, but that's just how I feel. Kevin Porter Jr. is destined to become one of the great scorers that we have in the NBA, and he literally hasn't been able to because of chance and attitude. Look, if we're being honest, Kevin Porter Jr. hasn't had the best attitude since coming into the NBA. I know, we've all seen it, we've all seen the things happen, but that doesn't mean he can't be a great player, and that doesn't mean he can fix himself. Well, not himself, but that doesn't mean he can find a way to better communicate himself with other players, coaches, etc. Now look, Cleveland Cavaliers, they were kind of pushing him to the side. I mean, they have nobody except for Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, and they couldn't even give the guy any minutes. So there was a huge situation going on in Cleveland. I have no clue, and I really don't feel like researching it because it was all just a stupid situation that was very, very immature on everyone's end. So look, now that he's in Houston, he finally has the ball in his hand. He can finally produce, and he can finally play the way that he wants to and the way that best fits his ability. He's going to be playing with Jalen Green, which is going to be even better because Jalen Green is going to take the defense off of him even more. So Kevin Porter Jr. is going to have hella spacing. He's going to be on a pretty decent young team, which I really like watching, and I am going to enjoy watching this year, that can be very, very good offensively on every position of the floor. So Kevin Porter Jr., he's finally going to get a chance, and that's why I believe he's going to be one of the biggest breakout players this year. He's going to have a chance, he's going to be able to prove himself, and he's not going to have anyone holding him back like the Cleveland Cavaliers were holding him back. He got to Houston, but you got to remember, every time you're traded, it's a huge adjustment period. And when you get traded to a rebuilding team, then there's a lot of not happy people in the franchise, and there's a lot of pessimists. So once you get into the new season, then that's where everyone relaxes, that's where everyone calms down, and that's where everyone is able to finally be like, all right, we can compete this year. We're 0-0. Let's get into it. Let's win this season. There's a lot of optimism heading into a brand new season, and I have a lot of optimism for these different types of players. I believe all three of these players are going to be great this year. All three of these players can be really good, and all three of these players, most importantly, are going to take a leap this season or this upcoming season, however you want to say it. Even Mo Bamba. I know all of you guys hate Mo Bamba, but I promise you, he's going to be great. I hope. Don't quote me. We're going to see with the season. So look, thank you guys for watching. I truly do appreciate all the love and support. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified every time I upload. Look, drop in the comments who you think I should have mentioned in this video. There's a lot of players. I mean, I could have easily put OG Anunoby in this video, and a lot of us would have been like, hell yeah, OG's going to have a great year. So there's so many different players that you could have mentioned in this video. So let me know in the comments who you think I should have put. So again, thank you guys for watching. I truly do appreciate all the love and support you guys constantly give me. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Have a very blessed day.